sales engineer here at Forcepoint in Malaysia. I'll be sharing with you in the next 30 minutes about what does artificial intelligence mean for data security. So let me just start off. Before I move on, maybe I want to ask everybody here or whoever wants to answer, what do you understand by the term generative AI? You know what is generative AI? No. Anybody? Care to try? All right. So basically, generative AI is a artificial intelligence that generates text, media, or based on a prompt, right? A question that you ask. So we've come a long way. You've seen the advancements of AI today with tools like ChatGPT or Bard or Copilot, right? And these are basically also being used to improve or increase productivity in organizations, right? So, but there is also a way that you need to use these type of tools safely as well in an organization, because by using AI tools, you are also, in a way, if you're putting in like some sensitive information, you're also feeding it into a data lake where it's now being used by all the AI models and the learning, right? So you look at these two quotes, right? Or this quote here from Goldman Sachs, right? You can see that the adoption of AI is going to increase the global economic output, right, over 10 years, right? So you see that the boom is starting with the adoption of AI. And next, you see this is a quote from Bill Gates, right? See that the development of AI, is as fundamental as the creation of a Microsoft processor, personal computer, and the internet. And you can see that industries are now going to revolve themselves about the use of AI or how well they use it, right? So there's always, when we talk about AI, there's good and bad, right? So we just look at what is the benefits of using AI. So it can be used for in security systems for threat detection, right? You can accelerate the process of detecting security breaches, anomalies, right? Some vendors already employ this solution in their, like maybe an EDR solution to quickly detect and identify potential security threats, right? And of course, you can use AI to detect anomalies in behaviors. When deviations happen, you can quickly flag out a potential security incident, right, using AI as well. And one interesting use case here is the bottom one, behavioral biometrics, right? Think of it as adding another layer of, authentication when you're, using like maybe passwords, biometrics. If you employ AI into this fold, you can then now study individuals' patterns, right? Their behavioral patterns, in addition to your regular passwords, add another layer of security by, making sure that they are who they are before you allow them into access into some system or whatever, right? And of course, we can use this for analytics as well, right? You can use artificial intelligence, gather all the information from a large data pool, data lake, right? Take all of that and, analyze it, come up with some predictive measures, right? Analyze vulnerabilities, weaknesses in the system, right? Help security teams to identify threats before they even happen, right? A bit like Minority Report, right? Okay, and then of course you also can use AI in some form of privacy preservation, right? You can use AI to help anonymize personal data when you employ it in some security systems, right? And then, of course, with the good, there's always the bad side of using AI, okay? So when we talk about challenges of using AI, right, there are things like adversarial attacks. Threat actors can actually exploit the AI system itself by deceiving the algorithms, right? Cause them to make incorrect decisions, right? And then it can affect all the processing that goes behind an AI tool, like recognizing images, some of the language processing, and some of the malware detection. You can even use AI itself to write a malware, right? There are people who actually do that, right? Okay, and of course, the other one, you also can use it to do model poisoning, right? You can use it, an attacker may inject malicious data into the AI's data lake, right? And then they can manipulate the AI itself, right? To influence the training model, compromise the integrity of the tool itself. And lastly, with all the information being gathered by all these different AI tools, right? If an attacker able to compromise that tool itself, imagine all the data that they actually have access to in the end, right? That's the last one, which is the data leakage, right? And then you can see here, again, some other examples, misuse of AI. They can, again, use this to, as an attack tool, right? They can manipulate, again, all this manipulation, use AI to move around, launch coordinated attacks on systems, right? Maybe large-scale phishing attacks, right? And number 5 here, you can see here, explainability. When you are using these type of tools itself, right? You also need to understand what's the logic behind the way that they answer or the way they generate a response to you. Do you even understand, how an AI generates this response? Are they biased to a particular answer, or are they giving you the correct answer? So this is something to keep in mind when you're doing these type of tools as well. And if you're an employee, right, who works at a company who employs this type of AI solutions, right, you may face a scenario where there's an insider threat. An insider threat knows his way around the system, all right? He can use that to his advantage to actually manipulate these type of tools as well to his own advantage, right? So interestingly, all the past 4 slides that I've been talking about, the advantages and disadvantages, were responses generated by ChatGPT itself, right? All these answers were given to me by ChatGPT itself, right? So you can see that, this is how I help myself to also, create this type of presentation for you all. I use some form of AI to help me get some information. But now we talk about the safe way and the bad way of using AI, right? So having taken all this into what I mentioned just now, let's go into a couple of scenarios of how AI is being used, right? Let's take the first example. If we are using AI in an IT operations type of scenario, right? If you are an IT administrator or firewall administrator, you're trying to create a firewall rule, right? Maybe you don't want to refer to a knowledge base, you want a quick answer, you want to ask an AI, You can see the safe example here is, let's say, for example, I want to create a new interface on my firewall with this IP address. Okay, that's totally fine. But if you take the second example, right, maybe the administrator wants to make his job a little bit more easier. He wants to go a little bit more detail. You put in things like DC server, you put HQ main site, you put the IP address, IP range. Now that is not a good example of using an AI to generate a response, because you are putting in sensitive notifiers, identifiers in from your organization into this AI tool. That gets fed into the data lake, and everybody who's using the same tool potentially may get this type of response as well. Right? So this is a bad example, right, of how you use. Do not put any personal or sensitive identifiers to the organization in an AI tool. Right? This is first example. How about second example, healthcare? Right? If we use AI in healthcare, let's say, for example, here I want to get additional information. Maybe a healthcare practitioner wants to get additional information to supplement a dietary plan for a patient. Okay, a good example of how to use this is maybe like here, very brief one. Write me a short meal plan, right? For 36-year-old male, weighs 95 kg, has Ricketts disease, right? Very general, nothing personally identifiable to the person itself. And then you get a response, you can use that to supplement your dietary plan. Now, the bad example here, is if you put all the patient names, the patient's age, the weight, everything, and all the diseases they have, and feeding it to an AI tool. Right? This again, putting personal information, patient information into a data lake, not good example to use how to use AI. Okay. Lastly, another scenario here. How about in marketing, right? Using AI in marketing. Right? Marketing, AI can be very useful in helping you to create like blog posts, all right, taglines, all these type of things. Okay, for example here, maybe I just want to do a simple blog post, give 5 key reasons or an organization how to build a comprehensive data security program, right? And they'll generate a response. This is something you like, you can use it in your blog post. But the back example here, let's say, write me a 20-word messaging statement, that summarizes the following. You see, like Data Fortress, going to be a great product, it's going to launch in, it's going to leverage on generative AI, it's going to launch in the Q4, right? You're, again, bad example here, you're putting in information on maybe an unreleased product that the company has is yet to release, putting in all the release, the launch dates, everything, all the information, right? These are all, confidential secret information which you shouldn't be actually feeding into the AI systems itself, right? So, the summary here is don't put any personal information when you are using AI tools, right? A general statement that is good enough to get you the answer, right, is a safe way to use AI, okay? So, let's, let be a bit more interactive here, right? So, since we have quite a number of people here, we want to ask the floor here, if, let's say the first question here, if has AI tools, are you using AI tools in your company, and does those tools actually help you to increase your productivity or creativity in the company? Anybody here would like to answer or like to share, if your company is actually allowing the use of AI? Would anybody like to share?
Anybody like to share? How about you, sir?
I think some companies still do not have any policies regarding the use of AI. But personal use, there's a lot of people starting using it as personal, even though it's used for their works.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you very much.
So that leads to actually the second question, which I believe you also answered already. You actually allow the use of AI in your organization itself. So rightfully so, for yourself, you said that there may be no policy in place yet for the company. But I'll share with you, like in Forcepoint itself, right? We do have a directive where we are prohibited to use any AI at all in our company, so long as it's a corporate machine, right? Personal one is totally fine, but no corporate devices are allowed to use any AI tools itself. The nature of this is because we ourselves are a data protection company. We pride ourselves with our data protection solution, so that's why, we can't be using tools to like upload any or send any sensitive information to these tools, right? And lastly, right, the last question, maybe if you'd like to share, has your company, employed any tools or solutions to make use of AI secure for your organization? Right? Anybody here would like to share?
Anybody you want to share? Hi. Anybody want to share? Yes, go ahead, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
First of all, AI is a very, what you call, fancy word.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when people talk about AI, it's too expensive. That's number one conception of the people thinking about that. Number two, as a SME, small medium enterprise, when they come to this kind of area, they will think AI is not going to be possible for them because it's cost. And to run AI, they're also thinking they need people to be around to do this job. Now, most of the time, the awareness is not there yet for SMEs especially. Right. So I myself as a SME, I use some of the tools for AI, but It's not really helping right now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right. All right. So, I mean, to your point, right? If you're not using tools that are helpful, maybe you can think of these type of tools as the new shadow IT, right? Because there's a lot of different tools that are popping up left and right. Of course, being aside the popular ones like ChatGPT or Bard, all right, or DALI, right? They are now a form of shadow IT, right? They are tools that are emerging every day, and your users may know about it. They may be using it, and and if you don't have tools to actually safely use it, right? Like for example, in Forcepoint, what we can do for our customers today is we have a secure web gateway, all right? A secure web gateway that actually has can control the usage of these different AI categories, all these different websites that host these AI tools, right? If you're not allowing your users to use these tools in the first place, then might as well you just block it, right? Same like us, right? We are prohibited from using it. You go to any AI tools, we just block it right away, okay? Secondly, when we talk about handling of sensitive information, right? If you have a data loss prevention solution already in place in your organization, data loss preventions already sort of have the capability to make sure that your users are not already, uploading anything sensitive to, external media, right? Websites, email, whatever. And this also applies to AI tools because AI tools mostly are, web-based, right? Okay, so this is one example here, like I mentioned here, like our SWG and our DLP. So we do have, like here you can see at the bottom here, we have a category itself for artificial intelligence already, right, today. And we are continually, updating this database. So if you want one way to prevent or to ensure the safe use of AI, right, use a secure web gateway. Make sure your secure web gateway is able to control access to all these different AI categories, right? And again, the second example I will give you I'll just show you a very short demonstration of using ChatGPT to block sensitive information. Yeah, let's stand here a bit. So you can see here the same example here that I was mentioning earlier. I want to create a firewall interface, right? Using this command, they will generate a response for you, all right? And then after you generate a response, maybe you want something a little bit more detailed, a detailed response. And you take that bad example that I was showing just now. I put in all my companies, IP address range, the names, the locations. And here, with a DLP tool, we have already prevented, all this from happening, from being, fed into the AI system itself. Okay, so this is two different ways that currently today we can actually employ in organizations to safeguard the use of these AI tools properly. All right. All right. So lastly, all right. So again, just to reiterate, AI tools today is the new shadow IT, right? So you just need to pay a little bit more attention when your users in your organizations are using these sort of tools, making sure that they are not, putting all your company's information into this tool. That's already another form of the data exfiltration, right? Try to limit the access to only specific groups of users who are authorized to test and use these sort of tools, right? Make sure you have a good data security program also in place to make sure that these are not they're not uploading any sensitive information according to company policy, right? And lastly, if you are interested to know more, right, we have a YouTube channel, right? You can go to YouTube Tech Talk, Forcepoint Tech Talk, where we have a set of videos explaining how we safeguard, again, the use of generative AI, all right? And before I wrap up the session, all right, I just want to end up with one last quote here, Iga. Generating language models, massive opportunity to reinvent how work is done, right? And in all cases, you know, AI is here to actually still help you to be more productive, all right? So with that, thank you for listening to us, my presentation. If you want to know more, you know, please feel free to stop by our booth. We are located beside Sentinel 1 and facing Naksa booth, right? If you want to know more about our solutions, do stop by and talk to us. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Mr. Terrence for the fruitful presentation. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Terrence. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please make yourself comfortable. We're going to start our next session by 11 o'clock, all right? So just be here and make yourself comfortable. Thanks.